Hey, good afternoon guys. Good Greens Yard and Garden here. You guys followed along with us a few weeks ago as we did our spring garden tour, and I kind of explained to you everything that's going on in both the small garden and the large garden. And here in the greenhouse, we talked about the leaf system serving as a mulch, and as you can see, it's broken down a little bit more. You can see it looks a little bit disheveled in here, and that's to be expected. We're going to go ahead and prep it today, make it look nice and neat and orderly. And to do that, we're going to go ahead and pull all the weeds out of the beds. We're going to restructure our walking rows. And as we do that, we're going to remound our planting rows. And that's going to give us 4 nice and neat beds. It's going to give us 3 well-defined walking rows. And it's going to give us a nice, clean, smoothed out planting foundation. And from that, we're going to be ready to go and hit the spring season hard. So follow along and see how we get our beds ready for the heat season, which is coming right around the corner. The 3 tools that we're going to be using today are this stirrup hoe, and that kind of works and cuts underneath the weeds, and then it makes it a lot easier to pull it up and root. We got this kind of this 4-tined cultivator here, and we have this hoe here. So I'll use this hoe to dig a furrow, which is our 12-inch walking row, and then I'll mound all the soil up on the sides, and then we'll of course come over it with a rake and smooth it all on out.
This is as good a day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the knife. And I can feel the sun on my skin, beginning to thaw from within. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today is a good day to live. This morning has a clear light as any to see the horizon in the far. Excuses were 2 for a penny, but they've all gone out the window of this.
We've talked about how we try to distinguish our walking rows from our planting rows, and we really try to avoid walking on them. One of the things we do to show you guys where the walking rows are, for us to know where the walking rows are, is we'll either put straw or wood chips. And I've talked about how over time they break down. And so what you're seeing today is, you're seeing that nice broken down wood chips from 2 seasons ago. What we're doing is we're actually digging a furrow with this cultivator here, or this hoe rather. We're digging a furrow, and this old decomposed wood chips I'm going ahead and just throwing right into the beds to keep the beds a little bit higher than your walking rows. But 2 seasons later, it's a nice little amendment that mimics a lot of the compost that you might buy at a store, and it's here. It's already ready to roll. And as I dig my furrows, I can put it on over. You know, one thing to take notice of too is as I'm coming down, I get down to that clay material, but all this other real dark, real healthy looking soil, like I talked about, the wood chips breaking down. You can clearly see the difference in adding that wood chips as an amendment, as an organic matter that you eventually can pull out of the walking rows, put into your planting rows, and then you can re-put down wood chips or straw. You can put down leaf mulch. You can put down a number of things, but that really is it's kind of like something that you can add to the beds over time that I mean just really add to this quality of the soil.
Tomorrow, there's no time to today is a good day. Today and not tomorrow. There's no time to borrow. Today, well, something's got.
So far, we've pulled all the weeds out of 1, 2, 3 beds. We've worked on creating that walking row on 2 of the 3 walking rows, creating that furrow. And what Katie just did is she worked real hard to cut all this spinach that we had talked about in the spring garden tour. We were gonna try to do a little experiment and let it go to seed, and you know, maybe try to see how that seed performs, how it tastes afterwards. If worst case scenario, you know, maybe throw it in a wildlife seed plot. But we decided to go ahead and pull it all out because we want to have these 4 beds ready for planting as soon as it's ready here. You know, relatively shortly, it's going to be the warm season. So if you follow here, you know, Katie did a good job of cutting this all up. Now I'm going to come through here with the stirrup hoe, and these roots are really tender. They come right on out, just like a lot of these weeds. And then this bed should be ready, and you guys will follow along as we kind of do the last little touch-ups. We're gonna go ahead and put some straw in the walking rows once we have all of our walking rows finished and our beds nice and mounded. And this thing will be just about as close as you can get to planting. Our beds are cleaned out. Our walking rows are nice and dug out. We've moved most of the material onto the beds. So one of 2 final steps is going to be to add a little bit of leaf compost, which is basically the same idea as your leaf litter, you know, your mulch system. But this is obviously more broken down. You know, it's been through heat treatment, and so it's ready to go as an amendment. It's going to add some organic matter. So we're going to add this to the beds, and I'm going to flatten them out nice and smooth. We're going to put some straw in the rows, and this guy will be ready for planting.
All that ever was is alright. Today and not tomorrow. There's no time to borrow. Today, well, something's gotta give. Today is a good day. Today and not tomorrow.
One thing to keep in mind is that we are using straw, not hay. So hay is for horses. So hay will actually have seed in it, straw does not. So don't forget to be using straw in your walking rows, not hay.
It's a good day
Push when you need to get some big clumps somewhere, but generally you want to pull. It's a little easier to pull and keep everything nice and smooth.
And that's why you're using the back end of that, right?
Yep. Nice and smooth. So we still got a little bit of leaf litter in there, but that'll break down and decompose, and you know, it'll serve as organic matter, just like we talked about before. I'm going to go ahead and do these last 3, and then these beds will be ready for planting.
today and not tomorrow. There's no time to borrow. Today, well, something's gotta give. Today is a good car. And when I feel the wind on my face, all that ever was
irrigation's nice and tight. Our beds are nice and cleaned and shaped, flattened out, weed free, and they're ready to be planted. And so if you guys get a chance, we'd really appreciate it if you hit like and subscribe. Thanks for following along as we prep our greenhouse beds for spring planting.